You're on.
Welcome to Virtual Tarot and to the Church of Ultimate Happiness. We're broadcasting today in separate locations. I'm Trudy, and this is...
Oh, you just said you were Trudy.
Oh.
And I'm Ava. Oh, that's funny. She's actually Ava, and I'm Trudy. Okay.
Yes. I guess, after spending so much time with her, I really am not sure if I am not Trudy or...
That's funny. You didn't even notice. I love it.
Yes. No, I didn't even notice, honest to God. So, what are we doing here in this awkward dual broadcasting situation? Well, this month, if you haven't heard yet, if you haven't been watching the other signs, then let me reiterate for you. Trudy, my dear, dear partner in crime, last month, the day after Christmas, tripped on her stairs at home, wearing these fabulous glitter boots, which caught in the rug. She careened down the stairs and hit the side of her head and actually injured her jaw, rendering her speechless for almost the entire, I don't know, until about four days ago or so.
If you can imagine that.
Imagine that. It's hard to imagine. And so we were texting madly and emailing one another during this time because Trudy had to keep that her mouth relatively still for healing. So we couldn't do our production, unfortunately. And that's why we've had to resort to Hangouts as a means by which to give you these readings this month. So please forgive us, but we'll do the best we can. And so let's begin.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. If you
Hi. Yes. I'm your tarot correspondent over here.
Take it away, Trudy.
All right. So what do we do here at Virtual Tarot? If you haven't been with us before, we deliver a 4-card spread every month. And the first card represents the overall environment of the month. The second card will represent challenges, things you might face during the month. Third card represents the unexpected. And that would be the unexpected is always the what card, Ave?
The forewarned is forearmed card.
Right. There we go. And then, of course, we do the outcome and a little bit of a sort of a narrative. We'll read all of the cards as a narrative. And then this month, we're actually drawing a 5th card for love because it is the month of love and it's February. And so we've gotten some really cool love cards so far. So I hope we got one for you as well, Pisces. And with that said, Ave, you want to go into last month's recap? I'm going to go ahead and hold the cards up to...
Yes, absolutely.
The camera. So the first card that came up for you was the 10 of Pentacles in the upright. And, that is a card of legacy and family sustenance. And I know Ava and I had cut in some dynasty footage because we had said it's almost as if the whole month is sort of about your family story, your dynasty. And so I'm going to cut over to Ava here.
Well, it's also, because it's a 10 of Pentacles, it's also about financial success, financial reward. So all your hard work finally is paying off in the month of January. So it can simply be wealth and financial stability and a flourishing business, thriving, a higher social standing, the love and support of your family, and even family businesses are often indicated. But it can also really, for those who are interested in marriage, it can be settling down, creating a family, It's the ability to combine career and parenting skills as well. So all of that might be experienced by you Pisces, and I'm a Pisces, and there's a little bit of that definitely going on for me.
And then in this second position, the position of challenge, up comes the Two of Swords, which I thought that was interesting because, first of all, we had this lovely dynasty card. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going home to hang out with the family, and the family has quite the spread. And then up comes the Two of Swords, which is, oh, well, I think I'm just going to keep things close to the vest because, you know, maybe I don't want to share everything, all of my thoughts, protecting my heart. I'm going to switch over to Ave.
Well, there is some sort of painful decision that is your challenge. Something possibly to do with family or finances or some sort of being caught in the middle of something, you know, not being able to choose one way or the other because you don't want to hurt one person or you don't want to hurt the other, so you're sort of got caught in the middle. And so amidst this sort of wonderful harmonic family group, there nonetheless seems to be something that is imposing itself where you're asked to come to some sort of decision, and which might be painful or at least stressful for you to accomplish. And so you'd rather not. You're kind of like avoiding it, avoiding some sort of choice, some decision, maybe having to do with one member of your family, and this doesn't necessarily have to be a blood family, it could be like an extended family. Maybe having to choose between two different people for the purposes of whatever it is. And consequently, it's hurting, or at least it's potentially hurtful. So you don't want to go there. There you go.
And then in the third position, in the position of the unexpected, we had the Six of Pentacles, which is the card that is, well, we call it the charity card, but it is also about giving. And so this month, unexpectedly, you may have been given practical help, which is really cool because we had this 10 of Pentacles in the beginning of the month, and it seems to all sort of kind of weave, you know, this story, which, you know, is very cohesive. So it looks as if this month you ask and you are given a portion of perhaps family money or family legacy is allotted to you. And I'm going to move back over to my foreign tarot correspondent.
Here in the spiritual wilderness. Yes, from the outreaches of civilization, I'm the tarot correspondent. It's generosity. Generosity given or generosity received. It could be that you're asked to express some form of charity unexpectedly, or you're given some form of charity unexpectedly. It's help, asking or giving of help. Someone might be asking for you to help, and that's already occurred to me. Someone asked me for my help, and I was actually unable to give it. So it's not necessarily that you are going to fulfill that request, but unexpectedly, something in that realm comes up. There you go.
And last but not least, up comes the King of Pentacles. And so we had a very pentacle oriented month last month for Pisces. And it was all about practical things. And Pisces can be at times impractical, maybe, because they tend to live in their heads. Well, I should say in their hearts, but they're dreamers. So last month it looked as if you were perhaps calling upon a very practical man. Perhaps it was a banker, or maybe your father, maybe your husband, your boss, someone who could actually share a portion of their estate. And this is a very solid, stable, trustworthy gentleman. But it did look very much like legacy last month. Family money, family legacy. And as Abe said, it could be also your work family, your adopted family. Some people have been raised by wolves. So anyway, family seems to surround you and have your back, basically. So that was great. Okay, tarot correspondent, let's see.
It really, the tarot sometimes speaks about the same thing in different ways. And the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles can really speak to the same kind of thing. And so I think it's just a reiteration of the same theme at the end. It might have to, of course, involve this parental figure, father figure, more specifically. But it doesn't necessarily have to. It could just mean, you're setting your goals and you're being very realistic about it, very practical about it. And you're thinking about where to invest your money, where to invest your time, what to do on a everyday level that would create a strong foundation of success and stability. There you go.
Okay, well, I think it's time for the February reading.
All right, I can hardly wait. Go ahead, Trudy.
Ready? I am shuffling the cards. And see, you are ready.
I am.
Taking cliff notes. All right, here we go. Okay, Pisces, let's find out what's going on with you this month. I know Ava wants to know.
I do.
In the first card, oh my, is the Seven of Wands reversed.
All right, go ahead, and I'll take it after you.
Okay.
My correspondent there, Trudy, take it away.
It's a little interesting, actually. So whenever I see this card, I always first see somebody who's a little bit defensive. But for some reason this month what comes up is you're solving a problem. There's a problem to be solved, and you've tried a couple of different ideas already, and this month is kind of colored with, because we have this in the reverse, it's colored with and
I'm sorry, Trudy, is it reverse?
It is reversed.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
Yes, it feels like it's covered. Well, the month is all about finding a solution, okay? And and I know Ava and I have been doing some of this also, where we try one thing, and then with virtual tarot, and then we're kind of we're not sure if that's working, but maybe it's like a bit of a delay. Maybe you're trying something and you're giving it a little bit of time. But that comes up for me. But also it's a card of even being a little bit hyper defensive. Not sure exactly why yet. You could perhaps have let your defenses down this month. Not exactly sure why yet, because it's the first card, but it does seem to be, speaking to, there's a movement that tells me that you're trying to find a fit. It's sort of the last peg, and maybe it's even trying to fit a square peg in a round hole a little bit. But I'm going to give this to Ava. Okay, Ava, tarot correspondent.
Yes.
What do you have on the Seven of Wands reversed?
Well, when you see this card reversed, You know, the card shows someone at the top of a hill, and his competitors are below him, and they're all trying to supplant his position at the top. And so this is severe competition, and it's testing your ability to stay at the top, to stay powerful, self-confident, self-reliant, and not succumb to self-doubt, because according to the reading last month, you were on a ascent financially and every way. You were ascending to that pinnacle right there at the top of the hill, and now this is reversed. So being at the top is extremely demanding. So it can be overwhelming at points. You know, you have a lot of responsibility, and consequently you might become battle fatigued. That's how I see it. Take it away, Trudy.
Okay, and the next card. This is super weird, Ave.
All right.
Okay. You know what came up? All right, so I drew the first card, and I'm drawing a little ahead over here.
All right.
I don't know how this happened, but somehow we got double sixes in the deck. And I shuffled the cards, and they ended up right next to each other.
Oh,
so I have a Six of Pentacles first drawn in the reverse, and then a Six of Pentacles in the upright. And I wasn't going to do this, but it was so weird that it showed up that I'm like, I gotta do this.
Oh my God! Well, that's interesting. So it could go either way, actually.
Well, the first one, it kind of reversed itself, you know, like it went from. So I feel like the way to read this would be, first of all, it's in the challenge position, so a little bit of that stump the psychic thing, but you know, the challenge is once again generosity, you know.
Yes, like last month's theme.
Right, but it's up and then it's down. So it looks as if there's, you know, there's a will to be generous, but there's an inability to be generous, maybe?
Yes, yes.
It feels like that.
Your effort, your time, your effort, your power, your energy.
Right, there's good intention here. But maybe this isn't the month, you know, to be generous, because we have the 7 inverted, you know.
Right.
You know, there's a little of a defensive posture going on this month, so you have to sort of protect your turf. And how do you do that? You look out for your sort of, you know, your own best, you know, what's in your best interest, I guess, which is sort of this card too. It's what's in your best interest, you know, in the inverse.
Yes.
You know,
it's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's kind of a literal interpretation, but it seems to fit, you know.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Yes, I like that. I don't know. I don't even know if I have anything more to add to that. I think that's it.
Okay, well then here we go, because we'll spend more time at the end. Okay. It's an interesting reading. All right. Okay, so the next card that comes up is the 9 of Cups in the inverse. So this is in the position of the unexpected. And I know Ava and I call this the fat and happy card. But
right.
in the inverse, it's the skinny and sad card.
Yes. Well,
or it could be the overly fat and happy card too, because sometimes it just means you're being a little bit like slovenly, you know?
Yes, overindulgent.
Way overindulgent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm feeling that this month. It may just, you know, it kind of follows up with this 6 of Pentacles. It's kind of the same thing, you know, where you're afraid, like, to get too comfortable, you know, and really enjoy yourself because of this 6, you know. And even this other card coming up, this 7, it looks like competition, like you're like battling it out this month.
Actually, it does, doesn't it? Yes. And because it's reversed, this is generally a wish granted card. In other words, it's about not getting there's a delay in getting your wish. But according to the card that came before, which is the 6 of Pentacles, unexpectedly, it's the inability to give. You see, because there's a sort of a wanting to keep everything to yourself, wanting to protect what you have, wanting to protect even your heart, your emotions, and not being able to be generous with that. It can be, of course, compulsive overindulgence as well, and it can be consequently you feel a little bit emotionally low.
It can also mean that perhaps in the past few months you have been fat and happy, but you're feeling it this month. You're not as able to, just enjoy yourself. To have dinner parties, because you're really watching it. It looks like you're not gonna overindulge as you had in the past, maybe for a little while.
Right. And it's in the reverse, it can be also excessive egoism, by the way, because perhaps you've been, again, elevated to a certain strata of society and of, say, financially, and it's a little bit of feeling very much as if this position in society is your just desserts, and you're a little bit gloating about it, perhaps. This is one of the possibilities. I mean, many possibilities.
One more could mean you've lost your position at the table. I really see the loss of position here, because that first card, you've got that 7. He's protecting his position. And then we've got this fat and happy card, which says maybe you're not sitting at the head of the table this month,
Right. Now, yes, I understand. I understand now. It's a wish fulfillment card. All right? So when it's reversed, often it can mean you get your wish, but then you're sorry you wished for it in the first place, because it isn't what you had dreamed or imagined it would be. So be careful what you wish for. Because
at the end, Ava, hold that thought. At the end, the last card in the position of environment is once again the 10 of Pentacles.
Oh my gosh, really? All right.
Isn't this interesting? We have 2 of the same cards that we had last month. So those cards really stand out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. So that's at the end of the month. Again, you're financially secure. You're again, ascending socially, financially. Community is, you're elevated in your community. So it makes sense that you're a bit overwhelmed at the beginning of the month by it all, feeling you've got all this competition, people trying to pull you off of your pedestal. And your challenge is to actually deal with your wish coming true.
Oh, right. Well, unexpectedly, that was in the position of the unexpected. Unexpectedly, you're dealing with that.
Yes.
I kind of wonder if this also has a little bit to do with, the 9 being inverted, a little bit to do with this defensiveness, this defensive posture,
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
I feel very much like this card also has to do with, it's maybe be careful what you wish for, but it can also mean that um, you've you've sort of gotten your wish and you've kind of lived the high life, but right now you are not. And it's just, it's you're trying to figure out how to get back there because of this 7. It feels very much like you're trying to figure out how to get back to the top.
Right.
And,
Right.
and so, but the cool thing is, we've got these 2 cards that came up last month, the 6 of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles.
Yeah, your challenge is the giving and receiving of either love, money, or support, and not because you got those 2 cards, those 2 sixes.
And
Wow.
the challenge would be the ebb and flow of currency, right?
Yes,
Doesn't that make sense?
absolutely, absolutely. And I think that maybe because we have you in a position of such tremendous reaping the rewards of your hard work and such, that these rewards there are strings attached to it,
Oh.
and these strings are pulling at you, draining you of your inspiration, and maybe even challenging your feeling of magnanimity, generosity of spirit. You're sort of spent, and you can't muster up what is being demanded of you. The strings pulling at you, and consequently, at the end, though, you come out shining, regardless of all that mayhem. The at the end, you again ascend financially, and you remain firmly rooted in your success.
Could it also mean that you come back home again, back to this same, like, it's like where you started, because last month it was in the position of environment, like you sort of left the castle, you opened the castle gates and you walked out, and now you're sort of back, so you've had some of these experiences, you've solved some problems, and if this is a business, it can mean, maybe for 2 months, you're going to have some goings on and some lessons that you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to try some different things. And you're going to have to, open your eyes to some of the issues and problems maybe that the business has been facing. Because we had that 2 of Swords, remember, Ava, in the challenge position.
That's right, yes. You don't want to necessarily face a hard decision.
Right, but it looks like they haven't, and, there's been some assistance too. Or maybe they've just been able to sort of see this from a purely logical standpoint, this issue, this money issue that's going on, and it has to do with building something like a corporation, like, a home, I don't know, because we have this 10, right?
Right. And it could be, but sometimes it just refers to the foundation of your own security structure.
Right.
That may be.
Right, and that would involve more than just you. I mean, there are other people involved, other family members involved.
That's right. And so it's the maintenance of that and the trials and tribulations of that, and being in a position of authority and responsibility can weigh heavily on you, and the demands, let's say, of others in your environment as it's tugging at you and trying to drain you of your inspiration, of your energy, and you're just sort of having to keep clawing up and maintain your status as it was in at the pinnacle. So that seems to be Well, it's a challenging month, actually, February is. And a lot
It's a challenging month, but you end up where you started.
you end up exactly where you started. You still, what it's saying is that despite it all, you're still in the same general trend. The trend remains the same.
Right, it's a great trend.
Yeah, it's a great trend. And so what you have to do is you have to keep your head above water and not be pulled under by those people who are in need of this, that, or the other thing from you.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I think that's great.
All right.
What do you think? I feel like that covers it.
I say so too.
Okay, and so that said, I'm going to draw the fifth and final card, which is the card for love. I've already drawn it.
All right.
It is the Five of Wands.
Oh, really?
And, yes, and we will be reading this card as it pertains to your love life, Pisces.
Yes.
All right, and so it's a wand card.
Okay.
And I love this card because there's a little chaotic passion going on this month.
Yes.
And if you're feeling as if, I mean, first of all, it's not a major arcana card. So let's start with that. And dire of the fives, I would say. So it could be that there's just a little bit of not wanting to go to the same restaurant, you know, because these are people who can't get on the same page.
Yeah.
And it's sort of benign stuff. So, you know, or you may not agree upon, you know, if you have a lover or a spouse, you know, as we are reading about love, there just may be some petty annoyances going on between the two of you this month. And, I mean, that is really all this card, you know, really has to say. I mean, or perhaps, you know, you guys are just having a hard time getting on the same team. And, you know, it's funny because it could even be as literal as that, Ava. Think about it. You know how couples, like, they have their teams? You know, I'm team this and you're team that.
Yes.
You know, maybe you're on, like, team, you know, this couple and they're on team that couple and you can't decide who you want to go out to dinner with. You can't sort of agree upon who your friend base should be, that kind of thing. But that's kind of all it really brings up. It's not any sort of, you know, big deal.
No,
which is good. It's good.
Well, it has both a negative and a positive side. And it could be simple. You see, there's a lot of this is a fire card. So there's a lot of action, emotion. It's a lot of adrenaline, actually, between you. So there's a lot going on in February between you and your lover. Sometimes it can be that this leads to a little bit of frustration and impatience with one another, which can happen in any relationship. And or you see the card invokes the idea of there's a team of people and they're all trying to bring their ideas, their inspirations together so that they can accomplish their goals. So there's a certain amount of brainstorming going on in this card. And when you apply it to a love relationship, it can mean exactly the same thing. Like you want to get your ideas, your goals in line with one another so that you can go and head towards the same goal together as a team. So it's kind of like bringing together your separate goals, inspirations, ideas, and trying to harmonize them so that you become an effective couple.
Yes, there you go. How do you like that couple counseling? was great. Okay.
I come from someone who doesn't have who is not in a relationship.
You're in a relationship with me. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's true.
Okay. And so, if you would like a private reading, Ava and I would very much love to hear from you. Simply go to virtualtarot.wordpress.com, peruse the menu, purchase the reading that resonates with you, and then send us an email to avatrudy@yahoo.com. And one of us will get right back to you. Okay? Probably Ava, since I'm injured. And you'll do it, right, Ava? So please do that. I mean, the readings are really, really helpful, spectacular. We talked a little bit about this month and how Spirit has so much more to say than you can even imagine. And, you know, sometimes Ava and I will get a question and we'll begin to, you know, do a spread. And the next thing you know, we've got all this commentary from Spirit. It's like way beyond the question. But it's so beautiful, and I do believe that you know, we're delivering some pretty in-depth readings, and Ava spends a lot of time on these readings, don't you?
I'm playing constantly, yes.
That's her whole life. Yeah.
They are at least 2 hours, 2.5 sometimes per reading, and
sometimes more even.
Sometimes more even, because it depends. You know, did you know, Trudy, that they did some research on psychics, and a person who is a psychic has a better chance of being receptive to spiritual information when in the earth, the magnetic field of the earth is calm, undisturbed, unagitated, let's just say. So when the sunspots are at a minimum, actually our psychic abilities go up.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's yes, it's true. And I can feel it sometimes. It's easier for me to connect, and sometimes it takes more time.
Oh, right.
And it can be because of the atmospheric disturbances that are or are not in play.
Wow.
I know.
But we need to have a sunspot report every day.
Good. I should keep an eye out for that, in fact. That's
And we also have a council card, so you can check the link below. This card is amazing. It is a subscription-based card, and you can watch a little bit of the audio file. Higher Spiritual Council. Ava does these. She only draws one card, Major Arcana card, and it will give you a more in-depth spiritual sort of overview into the reading that you have just heard. And some of you, I know, after the reading, you have further questions, and so that's why we came up with this. It's really absolutely amazing. I'm a subscriber. I love it. And I think that's about it. I'm going to switch over to Ava just to check that. Is that everything?
I think that's everything, Trudy. It's going to be a challenging month, but the good news is that at the end, the status quo is maintained, and you are still in an atmosphere of abundance and plenty. So
we like that. So with that, I am going to sign out, and we will see you in the month of March. Pisces, mwah.
And for me, Pisces, mwah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.